everybody, my name is Naomi Quet. Today we're going to be talking about the poles and the axis itself. So we all know about the axis, right? This is something that we've talked about a lot. The axis itself is basically tilted, right? So when you look at the earth and let's say you look at the globe, you'd see that there's the earth, right? And the globe outside is going to have like a curve around it, and there's going to be an axis right through it, so you can spin it, and so that shows you the action of it rotating, right? So when you look at the axis of the globe, what do you see? You see that it's not straight up, right? Usually a lot of them are not straight up, but they are tilted a little bit, right? So that tilted degree is around 23.5 degrees. And so why is that even there? We don't know yet, but we all do know is that this have a very huge effect on the earth itself. So first, what does happens here? First, during the summer, the hemisphere that's tilted to the sun. So let's say here's our earth, right? Our earth is rotating like this. This is the axis. So it's rotating pretty much like this, right? And so this is the sun. So this atmosphere here, this hemisphere here, that's being tilted towards the sun, will be able to experience longer days. Why? Because it's the axis itself that's creating this longer day. And they also experience more sunlight because they're more towards the sun, right? So that's when there will be warmer temperature. Because when there's longer days, that means that there's longer time of daylight, right? And when there's more sunlight, then that means that the longer days allow the sunlight to be able to have like a more decent amount of time for it to develop and for it to heat up. So that's what makes it like being able to heat up super hot during the day. So that's why you see that a lot of time in these forms of days, you see that it's way much more hotter than normal days, right? And so that's when it will have warmer temperature. But during the winter, what happens? The hemisphere that's tilted away from the sun, that's when it's experiencing summer. So that's when it's receiving shorter days, and it's also colder on the temperature, right? Because basically it's receiving less sunlight, so it's receiving a colder temperature itself too. So that's what about the seasons here. And what about fall and winter, fall and spring? Fall and spring will go pretty much in the middle of these two. Like it will be a balanced approach of these two. But there will still be a difference, so that upcoming up it's going to be winter, or upcoming up it's going to be summer. There's going to be a slight difference, which makes spring a little bit more warmer and fall a little bit more cool. So you see that's what the axis that affects it to be like. But now let's talk about the poles. The poles, so they are where it's like the very top. So like the very top of the earth. So when we tilt the axis back up like this, then this part up here is one pole, the North Pole, and this part down here is the South Pole. So what's so crazy about this is that these poles will experience some very extreme daily things. So that's why no people live there. Or even if there's any people there, then it's just usually scientists or people wanting to travel to discover things, to discoveries. And so in these poles, there will be one thing that happen annually. So there will be 6 months, a period of 6 months, but it will experience directly all the time daylight. So 6 months full of daylight, just the sun down like this. And the other 6 months, is going to be full of it's going to be full of darkness. So in those 2 times, you can see that even though the daylight will happen continuously, that doesn't equally means that it's going to be hot all the time, right? But then for like the darkness, then that means it's going to be cold all the time. So that's why it's so hard to live there. Even when there are scientists or when there's people visiting these poles, they usually just visit during the 6 months of daylight. So that is the effect of the Earth's tilted axis to the poles and to the seasons itself. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.